Last week, I built something on FigJam on real time live in the channel that was a map of everything that I could find on AI searching, but also sound searching that would make the brain feel better and rest. And something happened that I didn't expect, which was the fact that I was already feeling better while doing it. I realized that this is not only for the world to see it and people to feel better, be more productive, but it's also for me. Today, I want to go deeper into that corner because every day on my social media feed, I can see people actually complaining about this. Also, I saw this video of Twinkle.
I spend nearly 12 to 14 hours on my phone every single day, and it is ruining myself and my brain. Like, I can literally feel my brain rotting, and I don't know what to do about it.
That was saying that she feels like she's getting dumber, but because the brain is really not processing the information the right way, because there is too much things that we see daily that we have to process, that we have to think about, and not every one of us has the luxury, like to get a vacancy or a trip somewhere to just get over everything and rest. And also my friends, a few minutes before I recorded this video, was saying the same thing, that she feels really tired and busy, and we're all tired, right? We're really, really tired. Some days we really don't feel like enough productive to do anything. Even if it's sunny, even if it's rainy, it doesn't change anything because we are so exhausted. And I think it is really, really important, and is an important problem in 2026 in design, to build. And of course, now AI for free, we can search these informations, how to build a real product, a real something that can help in it. Last time we talked about sound, brown noise, natural landscapes, and what would make our brain rest. And today I want to focus more on the eyes, because the eyes are the thing that it's actually more exhausted in the first place. Here's something most people don't know. Oops. Our eyes have two modes of attention. The first one is focal vision, the ones that is narrow, that we use to read or to look at the phone. In this example, a constant muscular effort, and it is what can cause us, for example, often headaches. The muscles are physically contracting. And the second one is called peripheral vision, which is more wide and passive. It would be what we use when we're in the room, that we have to notice things, or we can watch a fire, or the landscape when we go out in nature, because it doesn't require effort in doing it. It has a relaxing effect on the eyes. And let's guess which one we are using right now, which is the first one, right? We are constantly using it, because even if we work on the computer and we have this primarily focal vision, then when we go home, we still have to scroll on the phone and still use our TV, and the eyes are constantly contracting the muscles, which is why scrolling doesn't help us at all. The thing is, in that time, the brain is processing all of these clicks and images and text that we're seeing every second while scrolling, but the body is still. It's the worst combination. And if you're a person who has to stay at office, sit all the time, or at home, or not do a lot of physical movements, that's even worse. When I started mapping what a visual antidote or a product would actually look like, the first question that I ask is, what does the second vision, the peripheral vision, responds to? What do I see that caused them nothing? And the answer is something of the most beautiful things that I did in this research. Let me show you the design section of the map, first of all. There are 5 visual properties that research constantly identifies as cognitively restorative. I want to go through each one because they're going to inform everything that I built. And the first one is fractal geometry. Fractals are patterns that repeat at different scales, and we can find them everywhere in the nature, coastlines, rivers, clouds, the branching of trees. It's like a visual system that processes them effortlessly. Not because they're simple, but because they're infinitely complex. Because the brain evolved surrounded by them. That's literally no learning curve. The eye moves through fractal patterns without this strong effort that we talked about the first vision. And as we also saw previously, the color temperature, which is really important, and also the circadian rhythm, the biological clock basically, and the lightning that makes you feel better. Also at home, that we talked about the cold lights and the difference between the warm lights and how it affects us. The mood, not only the eyes, but the mood and how are we feeling, and everything that is related to us. The thing is, the average Instagram feed, news website, or design dashboard contains somewhere between 15 and 40 distinct visual elements per screen, and your brain processes each one, but not consciously, subconsciously. And the thing is, that costs energy, even if it's subconsciously. Restful visual environments instead have a low element count. Negative space, one focal point, if anything, like a single branch against a white sky or a stone on a wood surface. The visual weight of things matter less than how much there is in it. One important observation is the sharp edges and lines that we can always find in this UI design, UX design, and on the social media and apps that we use daily. And in nature, these sharp edges was considered more as threat, predators and rock faces, something negative. So for this concept output that is going to be, I would consider restful visions, more organic curves, round edges, not because they're prettier, but because, as we said, we read them differently. Another point to consider is slow movement or stillness. Visual movement that is slow, predictable, and continuous, like clouds, water, smoke, grass, that activates this peripheral vision that we said, and the parasympathetic nervous system simultaneously. It holds attention without demanding it, and this is what the Kaplans call soft fascination. If you remember the attention theory that I talked in the previous video, that it was built by the Kaplans. So all of these properties, the fractal geometry, the lightning, the edges, like the shapes and everything in between that we've searched, that is now what I'd have to figure out is what to build with it, with all of these elements that we pulled out from various information researches, platforms, and AI. So I've been thinking about this for weeks because the final product is the most difficult part, even though the documentation and all the process and the vision, the research are still really relevant and important, and I want to put this there because I can review it and improve my ideas. And the first option was an app, but not something stressful as we are habituated with no notifications, or not the classic apps where you have to sleep better or just listen to this sound and you can feel more relaxed. I want it to be more like a window where you don't feel the pressure to, I don't know, subscribe to this app or pay this, pay that. It could be a free resource for you where you can literally take a pause from all of your burnout or, I don't know, ADHD, creative mindset and all of that. The problem is I'm not a developer, which is not a problem actually, because with AI you can arrive to what you want, but it would be still the opposite of what I'm arguing with, because it would be stressful and you have to have the reminder that you have this app that you have to go into. So yeah, it's not easy, and that's what I'm trying to figure out, because let's say we just already over-screened, right? So to have another screen to look at is not the best option. Option 2 would be a physical guide, like more or less a printed document with a beautiful design PDF or design, something you actually print and hold with you. And the tactile object would be part of this antidote, which would make you also feel better because it's tactile, you can touch it and it can give you this sensation of this thing that the brain can actually rest. And I really like this idea, but I'm looking between the options, which would be the better one. And for the third one, I was thinking where I landed before, which is more of a visual system, a set of principle, references, prompt, and environments that someone can apply to their environment, their own environment, their creative process or their screen aesthetic with their content. Because, for example, for my social media content, what I'm trying to do is, of course, I talk about nature, AI, and design, but how can I express my ideas and thoughts in the best and easiest way possibly, like to not stay there and overthink it, but still have like to be fast so I can take time for myself more, for my well-being. So how can I apply this principle to the content that I'm producing, and that it would be pleasant for the eye to see when people scroll, that can, in between this scrolling, help them even. So not an overload of information, but more of a information like in a relaxed way. I don't know how to say it, but like really, really easy and quiet for the brain, not something data rich with UI, UX, and all of these elements that our eyes need to focus all the time. Here on FigJam Map, I built this first draft of this system, which has these 4 pillars with neurodesign, sensory, philosophy, with a couple of images, which I will add other ones to give me a more clear idea of what I want to do. And here's where I think AI becomes more usefully, not because I want to extract an idea from it without thinking on my own, but how can I translate all of these ideas together and which would be the best option to go into a direction, which doesn't mean that I have to focus only on that one, because I want to work for this several months, because I can't create a finished product 100% in 2 weeks. So this is a process of it and in which direction I think I'm going, but it doesn't mean it will be the last one and the only one, mostly importantly. So I wanted to talk with AI actually on how can I describe this visual system using the 5 principles I just outlined with fractal geometry, warm temperature, low density, soft edges, slow movement. And AI can generate that environment like not perfectly and not without my direction, most importantly, but maybe it can give me something to react to iterate from and to refine in my own taste and creative mindset. And the output I'm building is this visual brief document for the brain, a design object, probably a beautiful formatted PDF or Notion template. I can talk even more. That contains these 5 restoring visual principles with scientific references, a set of curated visual references for each, an AI-generated environment that built to rest the brain, and practical application for designers, creatives, anyone who works on the screen. I think most importantly for people who work on the screen a lot, because for people that maybe have jobs that can stay more outside and get the sunlight or look at more of the nature is not that big of a problem, even though we get overloaded with data once we turn on the TV. But for people who, as me, for example, work a lot on the computer, I want to find this antidote a lot for myself as well, as I mentioned previously, because I think it's the main goal for me at the moment, and I can feel this energy and this same way of exhaustion also in my friends and the people that I'm really close to. So being a designer who has to solve a problem, that's what I'm trying to solve, like help people in their daily lives with this new technology that we have in our disposition, which is AI. So translating my ideas into this technical, I would say, like an output, a solution to that problem. So this can be, I think, like more of a toolkit for the overstimulated brain, built from research and made more beautifully. And the part I'm most excited about is that I'm going to use this as my own creative Bible. So I can start from here into building all of this month. Maybe every day I can get inspiration and listening also from people, which is the most important thing, to feel where the problem is and what makes them feel better. And in that solution for each of them, maybe I can be able in this month to get to a more concrete idea rather than only a PDF or a visual system. That it's more studied and argued and it means more. But I think this is really, really helpful, that I can make this job without you being taking away from your time to do this, because every one of us is busy. And since this is my primary work from now, because I'm also sending CVs, I'm actually doing a lot of stuff because I'm working on this. I have a fellowship now, which is really exciting, about the Zizzo company, which works with NASA, with TEDx, and makes public speakings about space architecture, design, interior design, but a lot of different creative, beautiful concepts and products. And it's really interesting. So I'm working on that part-time. And since I'm working also on my social media, but most important for me is YouTube, because it's a long-term channel. And besides of that, I'm also sending CVs that I can find maybe a remote job, so I can go somewhere on an island and just work from there, which I hopefully think I will get soon. But for now, this is my main occupation, so let's use my time into helping you reduce your time into searching all of these. And maybe this can inspire you to create your app or your own solution to this problem. So yeah, I think it's beneficial in each way. Before closing it, I wanted to share something even more personal, because you would say, like, why do you want to do this visual system and all of this while you are still working on social media and you have to get views, and to get views, you need to have people there scrolling on your feed, right? And that is the most reasonable comment that you can have for this work. But the thing is, like, I don't think there is such thing as ADHD for only some people. I think every one of us now can have ADHD because we're overstimulated, and in response of that, our head is everywhere and not in one place for a long of time. Like, we don't have the concentration that we used to have before, and our cortisol is at its highest because we need to finish things as faster as possible to be here and there to obtain this, to finish this goal and this thing. So as a person who is creative in the first place, but I also love to overshare my thoughts, my ideas, and somehow this is the fuel also for my person, for the way for me to feel alive, is to do different things that I can complain now because, I don't know, like, the world is so messy with the wars and everything going on. And I wanted to find a solution to quiet the brain a little bit and help it the best way possible. But on the other hand, like, I'm this person who wants to share everything that makes me feel better and that I can feel like 100%, and I would want people to transmit it and to make people feel happier and to get to know these emotions, to get to see this beautiful picture as me and transmit my own way of seeing the world. And right now this ADHD was being this creative being everywhere and wanting to do everything at once was being also transmitted in my social media, because people tend to see maybe the post and I can get a lot of views, but not new followers or not new people like commenting and being interested in how I said things. So I think this is useful for me to apply it everywhere on my social media, like Instagram, TikTok, but also on YouTube. So it is recognizable as a method, as a visual system, for people to stay there. And once I help them and solve this problem for them, for you, this piece of design content that is more me and becomes recognizable, then I think it's I can get to a fair point for an even way, for like a balance in between. Because like this, like they feel something. It's not just scrolling, but it's feeling something, recognizing my voice, and at the same time brain resting. So yeah, not because I told them, but because they feel it too. So that is the goal, right? Someone scrolls past my content, and before them even reading or hearing my voice, maybe there is this visual temperature that make them like feel better, or this visual construction or product or drawing or everything that it can be, where they think this person thinks about how really design feels in the body, you know? And this is the person who connects plants to screens, to brains, to a little bit everything. So here's where I am, and I think that this is going to be really helpful for me to create the final product, as I said. But one thing I want to say before I go is that someone left a comment on my video, on one of my posts on LinkedIn, that nature is their remedy. And it's not cliche, like it's really a wellness and studied thing that to go out in the nature is the most beneficial thing for you to do. But not everyone has that time, right? And my job is to figure out this translation in this digital era. And also another person commented that wants to see my routine of my skincare and of my hair and everything. And I promise that on upcoming videos, I will make one of these to also make my brain rest, as I was talking about in this video. That can be also a helpful way to take care of your body and yourself. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say for today. And stay here with me and subscribe if you want to hear more of where this is going in the upcoming month. And we never know what AI and what other news it's coming in the other days. So if you're really curious and you want to follow this niche direction, then you're at the right place.